Today's topic focuses on a phrase that has been circulating widely online and across social media platforms. Exchange Iraqi dinar at Chase Bank. This statement has gained traction among Iraqi dinar holders, sparking curiosity, speculation, and in some cases, unrealistic expectations. In this video, we are going to break this down carefully, analyze the facts, and explain what this actually means from a financial and economic perspective. Let's begin with the core issue. The idea that Iraqi dinar can be exchanged at a major international bank like Chase Bank suggests to many viewers that there may be a major shift happening in the global recognition or valuation of the Iraqi currency. However, it is important to understand how international currency exchange systems actually work before drawing conclusions. Major global banks, including institutions like JP Morgan Chase, typically deal with widely traded and internationally convertible currencies. These include currencies such as the US dollar, euro, British pound, and Japanese yen. The Iraqi dinar, however, operates under a different framework. It is considered a restricted or non-fully convertible currency in the global financial system. This means that its exchange is not as freely accessible in international markets as major reserve currencies. Now, this does not mean the Iraqi dinar has no value or cannot be exchanged at all. It simply means that its exchange is limited, regulated, and often handled through specific channels, rather than mainstream retail banking services in countries like the United States. So when claims emerge about exchanging Iraqi dinar directly at a bank like Chase, it is essential to verify whether such services are officially offered or if the information is based on assumptions or outdated practices. From a factual standpoint, most large US banks do not currently provide retail exchange services for Iraqi dinar. This includes not only Chase but also other major banking institutions. In the past, there have been limited cases where certain banks handled exotic currencies, but over time, many of these services were discontinued due to low demand, regulatory complexities, and risk management considerations. This brings us to a critical point for Iraqi dinar holders. The presence or absence of exchange services at a specific bank does not determine the intrinsic value of the currency itself. Instead, the value of the Iraqi dinar is determined by Iraq's economic fundamentals, monetary policy, and foreign exchange framework managed by the Central Bank of Iraq. Let's take a closer look at those fundamentals. Iraq's economy is heavily dependent on oil exports, which account for a significant portion of government revenue. This creates a strong link between global oil prices and Iraq's financial stability. When oil prices are stable or rising, Iraq's fiscal position improves, allowing the government to maintain currency stability. On the other hand, fluctuations in oil markets can place pressure on the economy and, by extension, the currency. In recent years, Iraq has taken steps toward economic reform. These include efforts to diversify the economy, improve financial transparency, and strengthen banking infrastructure. The Central Bank of Iraq has also maintained a managed exchange rate system, aiming to keep the dinar relatively stable against the US dollar. Stability, rather than rapid appreciation, has been the primary goal. Now, in the short term, what does the current situation mean for Iraqi dinar followers? The circulation of phrases like exchange Iraqi dinar at Chase Bank can create temporary excitement. But without official confirmation or policy changes, such claims should be treated cautiously. There is no verified indication that major US banks have resumed widespread Iraqi dinar exchange services for retail customers. For investors or holders, this means that liquidity remains limited in international markets. If someone holds physical Iraqi dinar outside Iraq, exchanging it may still require specialized dealers or financial intermediaries rather than mainstream banks. It is also important to be aware of exchange rates offered by such services, as they may differ significantly from official rates due to fees and market constraints. Looking at the medium to long term, the outlook for the Iraqi dinar depends on structural economic progress within Iraq. Key factors include political stability, anti-corruption measures, development of non-oil sectors, and integration into the global financial system. If Iraq continues to implement reforms and strengthen its institutions, it could gradually improve investor confidence and expand the international usability of its currency. However, it is important to address a common misconception. Increased accessibility of a currency in international banks does not automatically mean a dramatic increase in its value. Currency appreciation is typically a gradual process influenced by trade balances, inflation rates, interest rates, and overall economic performance. Sudden, large-scale revaluations are extremely rare in modern global finance and usually occur under very specific and controlled circumstances. Another important aspect to consider is regulatory compliance. Banks in the United States operate under strict anti-money laundering laws and international financial regulations. Offering exchange services for less commonly traded currencies involves additional compliance requirements, which can deter banks from providing such services unless there is strong demand and clear regulatory guidance. So when evaluating claims about exchanging Iraqi dinar at major banks, it is crucial to differentiate between speculation and verified financial policy. As of now, there is no widespread, confirmed shift indicating that Iraqi dinar has become a commonly exchangeable currency at major U.S. retail banks. From a practical standpoint, Iraqi dinar holders should focus on credible sources of information. This includes official statements from the Central Bank of Iraq, reputable financial news outlets, and verified banking policies. Relying on unverified claims or viral social media content can lead to misunderstandings and potentially poor financial decisions. Let's also talk briefly about market psychology. In niche currency communities, certain phrases or rumors can gain momentum quickly. This often happens when there is a strong desire for positive developments. While optimism is understandable, it is important to balance it with realistic expectations and factual analysis. For those holding Iraqi dinar as a long-term speculative asset, the key takeaway is patience and awareness. The value trajectory of the dinar will be shaped by Iraq's economic progress, not by isolated claims about exchange availability at specific banks. Monitoring macroeconomic indicators, government reforms, and central bank policies will provide a more accurate picture than focusing on individual rumors. In conclusion, the statement, "Exchange Iraqi dinar at Chase Bank," should not be interpreted as evidence of a major financial shift or a signal of immediate change in the value or global status of the Iraqi dinar. At this time, it appears to be more of a circulating claim rather than a confirmed development supported by official banking policy. As always, staying informed requires careful analysis, verification of sources, and an understanding of how global financial systems operate. The Iraqi economy continues to evolve, and while there are signs of progress, meaningful changes in currency dynamics typically occur gradually over time. If you found this analysis helpful and want to continue receiving responsible and factual updates about the Iraqi dinar, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video. This content is for informational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice.